Welcome to Experimental, the science show that hugs you down the phone and drives your dog wild with excitement. Later on, we'll be using science to blast away at the secrets of this magician, inflicting 3-year-old sandwiches on the good people of Natick, Massachusetts, and examining the physical properties of a raspberry at 500 frames a second. But first, let's snuggle up closer together. Rome, Rome, wonderful Rome. The Colosseum, the Trevi Fountain, daredevil drivers, feral cats. And of course, it's one of the world's most romantic cities. A fitting backdrop for a piece of fashion that aims to keep you in touch with your main squeeze. Literally.
Ooh!
We're gonna fly!
It's funny!
It's an inflatable shirt that allows you to send and receive hugs via text messages on your mobile phone.
Squeeze. Oh, like someone's properly holding me in their arms.
And its inventors, Franchesca, Rosella and Ryan Gent, believe that in the future we'll all be wearing clothing like this.
I've always had a passion for fashion, and I've been also a fashion designer for a long time. But I also had a passion for technology, and I tried to combine both.
The shirt was designed to demonstrate how mobile phone technology could be integrated into clothing. But it's been so popular that Franchesca and Ryan are now ready to market it.
We get requests almost on a daily basis from people that want to sell the shirt and people that want to buy the shirt for a huge amount of reasons, like reasons that we couldn't even have come up with in our research.
The Hug shirt contains a series of carefully positioned touch-sensitive pads. To send a hug, you open a special function on your phone and you give yourself a great big hug. An onboard computer records the strength and position of your hands and turns the data into a simple text message. At the receiving end, the text arrives. And if you like the sound of the sender, you choose to receive it. A tiny air pump fills the air pads to give the correct squeeze strength. And if that's not enough, the shirt even warms up to mimic the body heat of the sender. Ah, lovely. The company behind the invention is the techno fashion house Cute Circuit, run by real-life hugging partners Franchesca and Ryan.
All the technology to develop this sort of thing is available today, and we already have working prototypes.
But how do you turn a circuit board into a hug? Ryan and Franchesca started with t-shirts and pens, taking over 50 volunteers and drawing circles around their hands. Amazingly, they found out that we all hug the same. The final stage was to work out what a really good hug feels like and mold the technology to replicate it.
The result is like this package of technology. There is a sensor that is a very tiny flat sensor, like this one, that feels how strong you're hugging. And then inside there is a little pump here. And when I receive a hug, this pump starts to inflate a little balloon.
Ah, isn't that sweet? The cutting edge of 21st century hugging technology. But before all you cynics turn off, why not ponder on this fact? Hugging may actually help you live a longer, happier and healthier life. Studies have shown that hugging causes the brain to release hormones that make you feel relaxed and happy. Hugging also leads to a reduction in the release of stress hormones, chemicals that are linked to heart attacks. And this could explain why single people are more likely to get heart attacks than people in loving relationships. So it's a potent thing, this hugging, but would it convince you to buy Franchesca's techno shirt?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that would be great. If this invention was available, I would probably like to send some hugs to my son when I'm not with him.
One for her, one for my son, then I can just keep text messaging hugs every night.
This is amazing.
All the fashion people say, oh, we're never going to put technology into our clothes. And all the telecommunication people say, it has just to work, it doesn't have to look good. And instead, we're like merging these two things together, make them look really, really good, and give them an emotional value that really makes people think that is great to use.
Before the amazing Alim Amani does strange things with a $5 note and an orange, let's head to the test department for some of the hottest science on television. Despite its popularity, there are some people who just cannot cope with a good curry. But there must be a better way to cool your mouth. To find out, we're going to test the effects of 3 curry house coolers: water, beer, and that yogurt drink most tea-drinking Brits can't handle. But first, we have to set a benchmark. Our demonstrators here will each chew on a chilli and score the pain out of 10. That's quite hot then. The sensation of spiciness is caused by the chemical compound capsaicin. But it doesn't actually burn the mouth at all. What it does is to bind to nerve receptors in the mouth that normally sense temperature. These nerves are stimulated and tell the brain that the mouth is being burnt. So even though we feel the pain, it's not actually burning you in the conventional sense. With this in mind, let's test the effectiveness of our 3 cooling drinks. So yogurt is the clear winner. And the reason? Fat. Capsaicin is soluble in fat, not water. And the milk in yogurt contains loads of fat, which dissolves the capsaicin and carries it safely away from your sensitive nerves. Perfect. So there it is. Stay away from the lager and go for a milky drink next time you go for a curry. Coming your way on Experimental, the scientist who believes every dog needs a mobile phone, and how the US Army get away with feeding their soldiers 3-year-old sandwiches. Experimental has travelled all the way to Vancouver to visit the University of British Columbia's Visual Cognition labs, where they use a lot of fancy kit to examine something that might appear fairly trivial. And that is why magicians like research assistant Alim Amani can pull off stunts like this. Just watch.
What I have over here is a piece of rope. Could you examine that? Sure. And could I borrow your ring for a moment? Sure. Perfect.
A lot of the time, people aren't aware of everything happening in front of them, and what magicians are able to do is exploit that.
The ring right over here goes onto the piece of rope, just like that.
So things that are right in front of you sometimes go unseen.
Now, it really is on the rope. You can tug on that if you want.
What magicians have been doing is they're able to basically direct attention around a scene. So even though you're going to be looking at one thing, something could be happening right in front of your face and you wouldn't even see it.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this end over here, don't let go. You take this end over here and don't let go. I can slide the ring this way, I can slide the ring this way, but what I cannot do is pull it off just like that. I cannot make it disappear just like that and land back on the finger just like that.
Alim knows exactly how his trick works. He just won't show us. Back at the Visual Cognition lab, Dr. Ronald Renck has a word for why people do not see what's in front of them. He calls it change blindness.
Change blindness is really the effect where people don't see large changes that are in front of them. These are changes that are very easily seen once you see them, but it takes a long, long time before people see them. Until they do, they're effectively blind, hence change blindness.
To prove how it works, Dr. Renck and his fellow researchers have devised a number of tests to see exactly where we look. Tiny cameras track the movement of the pupil and plot the centre of their gaze on the image being viewed. The results were fascinating to researcher Elena Birmingham.
We found that overall, people looked mostly at the eyes. So even though there are many objects to look at in the scene, they look primarily at the eye regions, which is a novel finding.
Just to prove how blind we are, watch this classic experiment. A student is asked to undertake a simple task, completing a questionnaire. As she works, the researcher, who she met for the first time a few moments ago, changes place with another. But will the student notice?
I think I'm done with this one.
Great. Thanks. Did you notice anything unusual about the experiment?
No.
Did you notice that me and another experimenter switched places halfway through?
Oh, no, I didn't notice that at all.
Now you may think that's impossible. But to prove how blind you really are, let's look at the ring trick again. Remember when the magician revealed the ring was on his finger?
I cannot make it disappear just like that and land back on the finger just like that.
That wasn't magic. If you'd only been watching, you'd have seen it was there all along.
I cannot make it disappear just like that and land back on the finger.
So why does this happen? Well, some scientists think it's all to do with your posterior parietal cortex, a little bit of the brain that's near the back. It's the bit that deals with short-term visual memory. Unfortunately, it's not big enough to process all the information sent to it, so it does something rather clever. It remembers just enough of the important things in an image to be able to recognize it again. So just like this, you blink, you open your eyes again, and so long as everything looks pretty much as it did a few milliseconds before, the brain will assume that nothing has changed. Even if it has. Did you notice the shadow beneath the Jeep coming and going? Probably not.
Inherently, we're susceptible to this. There's not that much we can do. All we can do is try to design our technology to minimize the possibility of this happening.
Just to show how susceptible we are to change blindness, watch this next trick very closely.
Could I borrow a $5 bill? Maybe could you just sign your name across the bill? Okay. Have you ever seen the trick, Eric, where the magician takes the bill, folds it up nice and small, and when he unfolds the bill, it is a $100 bill?
No, but I'd like to see it.
Too bad. Can you still feel your bill, by the way? All right, what we're going to try to do is something amazing. Watch. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Where'd it go?
What I have over here is a knife. And you can see the orange sealed on all sides. Inside this orange, right over here.
What? Eric, that's not my bill.
Take that out, take a look. Can you show that to the camera?
Gosh.
Is that your name?
Yeah.
Thank you guys very, very much.
You do that.
Did you see how he did it? No? Well, don't feel bad. Nor did we. But did you see the big gorilla halfway through? Well, just in case you didn't, here it is again.
And you can see the orange sealed on all sides. Inside this orange,
don't try this at home.
Still to come on Experimental, mobile phones for dogs, gourmet sandwiches for grunts, and the phantom raspberry blower. But first, welcome to the Great Test Department Grip Experiment, in which our 3 intrepid testers are going to find out which type of shoe has the best grip. Will it be number 1, the cheap plastic flip-flops from a seaside novelty store? Or number 2, professional leather-soled ballet shoes? Or finally number 3, a pair of expensive mountaineering boots that are guaranteed to get you up Everest the hard way? Whilst the gamblers amongst you are laying out your bets, let us ready the Test Department slipometer. Or rather, an electric drill, some rope, and some planks of wood. The idea is we can gradually increase the slope until our test department tester slips downwards. First up, those sturdy mountaineering boots. "5 degrees, 10, 20, 25, oh, and a slip at 35 degrees, but as expected, they're pretty good. Next, those natty little ballet shoes. All set, go. 5, 10, 15, 20, this is not bad, but hang on, oh, they've gone at just 27.5 degrees. Well, well. And finally, those cheapo flip-flops. Here we go, straight through 5 and 10 degrees, 15, 20, 25, 30. This is amazing. They've reached a staggering 40 degrees. What a turn up for the books. So next time you're scaling the Eiger face, why not bin the boots and try a pair of £1.99 flip-flops instead? Did I hear the word frostbite? Coming up on Experimental, techie stuff for dogs and violence in the test department. But before all that, let's go snacking with the army.
Hello.
Here we are in Natick, Massachusetts, trying out a new kind of sandwich.
Yeah, it's good.
Not bad.
I like it.
It's a good thing they like it because this isn't an ordinary sandwich. These are high-tech sandwiches from a special batch made by the US military. Behold, the Forever Sandwich. The idea behind the sandwich is to make sure the infantry don't waste valuable fighting time messing around with mess tins. Instead, they eat on the run. Why? Well, it's hard to tell exactly when the boys in green are going to need to get out their guns and fight, so a ready supply of munchies must always be on hand. That's part of Michelle Richardson's job. She's from the Department of Defense Combat Feeding Directorate, and she was on the team which came up with this cunning plan.
This is a shelf-stable pocket sandwich. It's called shelf-stable because it has a 3-year shelf life. This is something that the soldier can't eat out of hand, doesn't require any preparation, and he can eat while on the move if needed.
But the bread is remarkable. Ultra-pasteurized, radioactive, sealed against the elements. How do you do that?
A lot of the stuff that goes in the bread is pretty common, such as mono and diglycerides to stop it getting stale, and ascorbic acid to stop the mold. So much for the bread. But what about the middle of the sandwich? Well, that too has a healthy squirt of glycerol to stop the bacteria growing, plus a few other unpronounceables which do much the same thing. But the key is not the chemicals in the sandwich, but the packaging. Not only is it more airtight than a tin can, but it contains a little package of oxygen-scavenging chemicals. Each of the sachets is filled with a chemical such as iron oxide, a molecule with a need for more oxygen atoms to keep it happy. Its effect is like a vacuum cleaner, sucking up any stray oxygen atoms it can get hold of. It's so effective that oxygen levels can be reduced to about 100 parts per million. The result is that all the molds and other bacteria that need oxygen to live effectively suffocate. So just how long can one of these things last?
Food items should be able to last for 3 years at 80 degrees.
Yes, these babies can last 3 years in the field, rain, sleet, sludge, and enemy fire. And just to prove it, these are from the Department of Defense's original batch, baked in April 2003.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Packed in here for 3 years? Why is it 3 years old?
And you're still eating. It didn't stop.
Isn't it amazing what science can do to us?
Whilst humans seem quite happy with this historic meal, other species seem a bit more choosy. Still to come on Experimental, the gizmo that got Fido here a little overexcited. But first, to the test department. What is it about blowing a raspberry that makes the raspberry sound? The test department decided to find out. We ran a series of medical tests on this prodigious raspberry blower. In a marathon session, our subject blew over 300 raspberries in just 1 hour, allowing the test department to draw a startling scientific conclusion. But what was it? It was that raspberry blowing is extremely annoying. A discovery which blew our demonstrator's mind but was hardly science. So, we got out our special 500 frame a second camera to have a closer look at what's going on. Revealed for the first time on your TV, the startling fact that it is the bottom lip that plays the dominant role in raspberry vibration. And for all that our raspberry blower has advanced the knowledge of humankind, we couldn't resist taking our revenge on the rude little squirt. Welcome to Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a pretty typical town, full of some of the good things about America. Like mobile phones, and some of the odd things about America, such as this woman and her dog.
And those guys. Yeah, she's pampered. Do we love her? We adore her. This is my passion.
So why is experimental here? Well, it's to meet this man, Cameron Robb, who's decided that the next big thing for a dog should be a phone.
I came up with the idea for a pet cell several years ago. I was on a business trip and I was talking to my daughter on the phone and she was telling me a story about her friend losing her dog.
Yep, every cloud has a silver lining. Buddy may have run off and broken a few hearts along the way, but it got Cameron thinking. Pretty soon, he'd come up with, well, a Fido phone.
I just felt with technology advancements, wireless telephones and tracking devices, it would be a great product to come up with for finding a dog.
Just like the modern human phone with its WAPs, Bluetooth and MP3 abilities, actually talking is fairly low on the Fido phone's list. Key to this gizmo is the fact that it can be tracked from space. So as Buddy heads for a raid on the local canine sweetie shop, a big red blotch appears on his owner's computer screen, prompting some swift action. Even better, his position can be uploaded live onto your own tracking device. So when Buddy heads to the hills with his loot, the posse can be close behind. The device does also work as a phone, so your favourite animal can hear all the exciting things you've got in store for him when you get home.
Hey Sam, it's Mom.
I'm almost done working now, so as soon as I get home, I'll take it for a run and we'll head over to the park.
So, thanks
for being a good boy, and I'll talk to you soon.
But unfortunately, all that talk of parks can get some dogs overexcited.
I love you.
Bye-bye.